deals. Literally, they have mindset issues where they are like,
This is Right About Now with Ryan Alford, a Radcast Network production. We are the #1 business show on the planet with over 1 million downloads a month. Taking the BS out of business for over 6 years and over 400 episodes. You ready to start snapping necks and cashing checks? Well, it starts right about now.
3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? Welcome to Right About Now. We're always talking about what's now. We're talking about business. We're talking about marketing. We're talking about life. We're getting creative today. Creative real estate investing. I've got real estate investor, TV personality, Pace Morby. What's up, brother?
bro, I am so happy to be here. I just literally watched 5 of your episodes, listened to 5 of your episodes, and you guys are doing such a freaking great job. I love this podcast. It's sick.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. I hope you'll continue to listen. You got to at least listen one more time when this episode goes live, right?
Dude, I subscribed on Spotify. Like I'm subscribed.
You're in the vortex. Hey man, that means a lot coming from you. I knew about you. I've been watching you from afar. And then when I'm like, I want this guy on my show, I start digesting and I'm like, damn, this guy's figured it out. And I'm like, so that means a lot coming from you, brother.
Thank you, man. The thing is, like, I want to be around other guys that are great marketers, right? Guys that know how to get eyeballs. And what we were talking about before the show is eyeballs are currency in 2022 and going forward, right? And people that don't understand that and are stuck on the conversation, like, how do I market? How do I get eyeballs? A question I get all the time is, Pace, how do I get private investors that will invest in my real estate deals? And I'm like, post content, talk about what you're doing, do some marketing. Oh man, but I'm afraid of like what people are going to think of me. Oh, okay, then great. You're definitely not somebody who's going to take my advice and run with it. You just keep second guessing yourself. So I love being around guys that are cutting edge. I love being around guys that have more experience than me. So subscribing to your channel isn't just because you've had some dope guests. I'm subscribed to your podcast because, bro, you know your shit. Hey,
man. I like this guest. I like you already, Pace. I liked you before I met you. Now, like all the compliments, I'm like, yes, if I had my sound effects like I do on Friday, we'd be like hitting on them. But no, man, I appreciate that, brother. I mean, I've been doing it for 21 years and been blessed to work with some of the best and now interviewing some of the coolest, raddest people in the country, yourself included. And it's a passion and, but it's so true what you say, like people have this, I don't know, reflection of themselves that they're worried about what people think. But if you aren't putting yourself out there, you are so limited. It's not that if you can't make a company work, but a guy I like a lot named Dave Gerhardt wrote a book called Founder Brand, and how if you're not putting yourself out there, you're so limited. The tools and the availability with which to get attention are so great. To not be leveraging them because of some self-limiting trait is just limiting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. One of the guys I look up to, his name is Robert Allen, kind of got out of the real estate space, but he was like an OG creative finance guy, right? So Robert Allen goes around the country, okay? Goes around the country. And this dude, like, this is before social media existed. This is some gangster stuff he did. So he writes a book called Nothing Down, right? So buying a house with nothing down. And everybody thinks, so you've got to put money down. You got to come out of pocket. You got to use blah, 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 all that stuff. He writes this amazing book. The LA Times in 1987 calls this dude out. So they go, Robert Allen's full of shit, right? So they post this in their newspaper. And LA Times back then, like that's how people got all their news, right? LA Times, New York Times, all that kind of stuff. So what does he do? He's so gangster. He leans into this. And what he does is he goes, I accept your challenge. If you think I can't do this, why don't you put me to the test? So LA Times goes, okay, fly out to the LA Times, come out here. We're going to link a reporter to you. And then we're going to have you guys fly to a random city and you're going to show us in 72 hours that you can buy at least one piece of property without any money out of your pocket. And Robert Allen's like, this is the greatest marketing of all time. You guys are stupid. Thank you so much for amplifying my voice. So he goes to LA Times in LA. They give him a plane ticket. Back then, plane tickets were a real thing, obviously. You probably remember that. You and I are probably relatively like you actually had a ticket,
yes,
type of shit.
Oh yeah.
So they fly him to San Francisco They give him $100 and they go, you have $100 for food. We're taking your wallet. We're taking everything else. And you have 72 hours. So Robert Allen, this is the most gangster thing ever. The first thing he spends $100 on, he goes to a hot dog stand in downtown San Francisco, buys a hot dog for like $1, has $99 in change now. And he asked the hot dog stand vendor for a roll of dimes and gets a roll of dimes. And at that time, also
the phone booth, the phone.
Yeah, dropping a dime, right? Like Sublime, some of the Sublime songs, like dropping a dime. So he goes and he starts calling realtors in the local area. And this reporter's documenting everything, right? And he doesn't get a hold of any realtors, but he's leaving voice messages all day long. It gets late in the afternoon. He decides, all right, reporter, we're going to go find some like hole in the wall hotel because I don't have really that much money and I got to get all the way through 72 hours. So they go find a hotel, $17 a night hotel. He asks the reporter to split it with him so he doesn't eat up his $100. Gets a call back from one of the realtors at 9:30 that night. Realtor says, hey, is this Robert Allen? Robert goes, this is me. How can I help? She says, hey, I got your message earlier today. I've got 2 pieces of real estate that my seller that I'm representing is willing to sell to you for nothing down, and he'll finance you, and you can just make payments to him long term. The reporter's like, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. There's no way you didn't preemptively know this person. So next morning they wake up, they go to the appointment. Sure as hell, Robert Allen signs 2 contracts where he doesn't come out of pocket to buy the houses. And the reporter says, oh my gosh, you did it, man. You did it. You did it. And Robert Allen says, what's next? Or no, I'm sorry. The reporter says, let's go home, right? Let's go home. I'll write this article. You freaking crushed it. And Robert Allen says, I'm sorry. That's not what's next. What happens next is I still have 54 hours to buy real estate. I'm going to go buy more real estate. He spent next 54 hours. He bought a total of 7 houses with nothing out of his pocket. The most gangster shit ever. Flies back. They do this LA Times article saying real estate investor takes the LA Times challenge and wins. And this one article gets him on stage with everybody you can imagine, right? Les Brown and Tony Robbins. And he flies around the country for literally 20 years. He's flying around the whole entire world because of one piece of marketing blew this dude's brand up, right?
Yep.
And so the point of me telling the story is, number one, marketing has always been the most important thing ever in your business and your journey. And if you didn't have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all these things back then, it wasn't going to stop the guys that were going to make it happen. Like they're going to figure it out no matter what, right?
Exactly.
And the second reason why I brought it up is because Robert Allen, after all of these years, is now teaching mindset, right? So he's not teaching real estate anymore because he said, Pace, 99% of people fail in getting into real estate because of one thing, and it's because of mindset, not because of technique, not because of their sales skills. Literally, they have mindset issues where they are like, I'm worried about what my mom thinks. I'm worried about what this person thinks. I'm worried about what my friends on Instagram think. So now he's teaching mindset because he's like, I could teach you all the real estate strategy in the world, but you ain't going to do shit with it because you're so self-conscious and you don't want to get in front of a camera and you don't want people to think any negatively about you. And it was the most powerful thing when I first met Robert Allen. This is what he says to me. So I just met him this year, right? This guy's like a gangster in my industry. And I have this event that I get invited to in Key West in January of this year. And I tell the guy, I can't go. I'm sorry. He goes, I want you to speak on stage. I want you to speak on stage about, your community and your Facebook group and all the things you're doing to build community in the real estate space. I'm like, I'm sorry, Tim, I can't go. A&E is filming tomorrow. I can't go. He sends me the dais. And who's on the dais to speak? Robert freaking Allen.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, I got to go. I got to see this guy.
You're going to go.
I'm going to go. So I call A&E and I go, hey, I'm not feeling great. We need to push filming back a week. So we push filming back a week. I go out. I go to this event and I'm walking through the hallways. You know how it is. Like you go to events and you're kind of in the green room where all the speakers are and stuff. Yeah. And I'm bouncing around. I'm looking for Robert Allen. And I see him. I knew it was him. I walk up behind him. I tap him on the shoulder and he turns around and he says, Mr. Morby.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, oh my gosh, my hero knows who I am. And so I say that. I go, bro, my hero knows who I am. And he goes, do I know who you are? You're building a community. You're marketing yourself. I am so proud of what you're doing. I wish I had the balls to do what you're currently doing right now when I was your age. And I'm like, you're the guy that freaking blew up the LA Times, right? So my big thing with marketing, especially with what we're doing in real estate, is if your audience could write this one thing down and this one takeaway, is that your vibe will attract your tribe. And as you authentically post and you're genuine about who you really are, nowadays people just want transparency. They want people to be genuine. They want authenticity. And what happens is you either repel people or you attract people. That's all there is to it. And over a certain amount of consistently marketing yourself and talking about what you're doing and providing value of, here's how I do what I do. Here's when I do it. Here's why I do it. Let me know if I can help you, whatever. Those types of pieces of content. What happens is over a period of time, your tribe finds you and they then prop you up. And the problem with people and like this whole thought process of, I don't want to post, I don't want to be in front of camera, I don't want to whatever, you're still in that phase where you have people that are being repelled by you. And you are conscious, you're so subconscious and self-aware of that you're not realizing that is the greatest filtering mechanism ever. Those people need to leave you. You need to repel them. They need to leave your brand. They need to leave whatever you're doing so that you can attract the people who are your real audience. And you got to do it consistently and not be a sissy about it so that you can actually leverage that audience to do the things you need to do.
Pace, you've just given the greatest commercial ever for my upcoming mastermind.
Bro, it's huge. So check this out, okay? Marketing in real estate is epic. So yesterday, check this out. Well, actually, let me back up. So 2 months ago, somebody sends me a DM on Instagram where I get a lot of deals sent to me. So I'm known as a creative finance investor. I would say probably the only guy that's articulating out there on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube in any consistent way about creative finance. There's guys that will talk about it here and there, but it is my core. It's my core brand. Like it's the heart of my brand is creative finance. And so everybody knows nationwide, if you run into a deal that can't be sold through a realtor because there's no equity, or if maybe the seller wants too much money, everybody in real estate, my goal is for everybody in real estate to know that I'm the fixer for that problem. Okay. So a gentleman, a greedy gentleman, I'm going to tell you a story about a greedy ass gentleman. That's what I'm going to tell you.
I love that start.
This guy's name is John. He's in Atlanta. He runs into a seller who's in foreclosure. Okay. So the seller is behind on payments, 5-bed, 5-bath house, gorgeous house right outside of Atlanta in the suburbs. Seller says, hey, I'm behind on my payments. I need somebody to just take this house off my plate and give me $10,000. And I don't care what you buy it for. And so the guy, John, goes and talks to the seller, gets the seller under contract. And then he brings the deal to me and he's asking for $110,000 on top of what the seller is asking. Okay. So that in our world, that's a wholesaler, right? So somebody locks it up at a discounted price. They then say, hey, Pace, I'm not going to buy this deal, but do you want to buy it from me? And they basically take it and they upcharge it. You know, he's upcharging it $110,000. I'm like, bro, you're now asking me for way too much money. The seller who's in foreclosure, you're not going to actually help them out. This deal's going to cancel. You got to realize that the most important thing in this transaction is not the $110,000 you're trying to get. It's a relationship with me.
Big
because
picture.
Eyeballs and marketing doesn't just come from Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all these things. It comes from face to face. There's a brand when you meet people and when you do a transaction with people that you make an impression in their brain that now going forward, when you need another piece of this product, you're going to go back to me because we did a killer transaction together, whatever. Yeah. He goes, nope, I want 110,000. I'm like, bro, nobody's going to buy this deal. You're going to market yourself as a bad real estate investor in your local market. You're branding yourself, whether you know it or not, you're branding yourself as a greedy asshole. You are branding yourself. You're marketing yourself as a greedy asshole. That's not what you want, bro. I promise you. And I said, mark my words. you're going to cancel this contract on this lady. She's in foreclosure. You're not serving her at all. And somebody else, because I brand myself as a fixer in real estate, somebody else will pick up this contract 2 months later, 3 months later, and they will bring it to me. Mark my words. So last night I get a DM from a gentleman named Jamari. Jamari says, Pace, if anybody can solve this lady's problems, it's you. And why is that? It's because I market myself as exactly what I can provide to the marketplace. And it's free. My marketing is free. And now Jamari brings this to me. And instead of asking for $110,000, I pick up this deal. It's a 5-bed, 5-bath house. I'm going to turn it into an Airbnb. I will never have to talk to the seller. I will never have to walk the property. I will not use my own credit. I will not use my own money. I did not have anybody check my bank records or anything like that. I will take over this lady's payments, save her from foreclosure, save her credit, and Jamari will walk away making $10,000 doing this. And I get a discount off John's request of $110,000, $100,000 difference, but Jamari wins. And so now what am I doing with Jamari? I'm putting him on my YouTube channel. I'm branding him in local Atlanta as a guy who can go around and do things for other local investors. And I'm like, people don't understand marketing is not just social media. Marketing is your personal brand in your local geographical area. How are you leaving an impression on people's brain when you're doing business with them is a major deal. And it's why guys like Grant Cardone, on your show, and Elena Cardone and other people you've had on your podcast continually succeed, because they don't just brand themselves on social media. They brand themselves every time they open their damn mouth, even if there's no camera turned on.
Absolutely. Unbelievable.
So anyway, I love the topic of your guys' podcast. I love it because not a lot of people are doing this in the way you guys are doing this. I freaking love it.
Well, I love that, but I want to break down a couple of those things because I mean, it's so, number one, it's like, I feel like I was at church again, like growing up. I grew up in a Southern Baptist church, and you'd sit there, and my dad, who's trying to get involved in the sermon, sitting there, and the pastor's really touching his heart. Amen. Hallelujah. That was me underneath, like as you were speaking through all that. I wanted to give you some amens, some hallelujahs, and some praise the Lords as the old Southern Baptist. But you nailed it, man. I mean, I don't know why people have such a hard time getting over that. I can teach you all day on all those principles you just talked about on marketing. But if your brain isn't in the right place, you'll never enact upon them. So amen on all of that, because it's the biggest problem now is everybody can go learn all these things, but if you don't get out of your own way, you're never going to put it to action. And
you ever seen those movies where like somebody's in a prison cell and the guards like throw the food on the floor in front of the prison cell and they have to like reach through the bars and grab the food?
Oh, yeah.
So like imagine your audience, right? And the people that you guys are basically liberating from their mindset issues. And I know your partner doesn't call it mindset issues, but the audience probably recognizes it as that. So imagine if you're the audience listening to this and everybody's trying to feed you, right? We're trying to give you technique for real estate, technique for marketing, technique for all this stuff. It's kind of like throwing food in front of you while you're in a prison cell. Like you're going to have to reach through your own prison. And you have to pull that information through these bars that you're trapped inside of. Guys, mindset is the key to open up that prison cell so you can just walk out, sit down at the table, hang out with the guards, and eat the food. Get out of your own damn prison. Like you are imprisoned in some bullshit. And a lot of it is, came from your childhood, right? The way your parents raised you, good, bad, or indifferent. My parents have been married for their whole lives. They love each other. I have 12 children in my family. I'm number 3, but you can guarantee that I got mindset issues even from the positive stuff that I was learning from my parents, right? Like work with your hands. That was a big mindset shift for me. My dad's a blue collar guy, right? You grew up in a blue collar family?
Yep.
Okay. So my dad's a blue collar guy. So the hardest thing I had to overcome was, well, I'm not working unless my hands are making something. I literally went all the way through my 20s finding only business opportunities that required my hands to touch them. I was in a prison. And so I wasn't leveraging anything. If my hands weren't touching something, I wasn't making money. Guys, that's a prison. That's a mindset issue of like, you have to physically go work hard and touch things in order to make money. And if you don't do that, which is like sales or buying real estate and you have passive income or any of those types of things, or even making a podcast, it's a hard thing for blue collar people to make that shift and get out of that jail. So again, like Robert Allen was saying, he's like, I went around the world for 27 years and taught real estate technique, and 99% of the people I taught failed. And it wasn't until I was older and more mature that I saw the patterns all led back to the mindset stuff. It's what nobody else is doing, but it's what everybody should be doing. I say it's the difference between interesting and important, right? So like the information you give somebody, if they are in a prison of their own mindset issues, basically everything you're giving to them, it might be gold nuggets. They might be filling up their yellow pad, and they might be filling up everything with all the techniques. But in that moment, it's only an interesting piece of information. It's not important to them because there's no way they're going to apply it and actually get traction in their business or in their life. And so what I like about you, like, think about this, Les Brown, like one of the greatest speakers of all time, is a mindset guy, right? Like through and through mindset. And he generalized it in a way that it could apply to anybody, but that also can be a problem. And I'm not criticizing Les, but what I'm doing is I'm saying, I'm giving you as a compliment in the sense that you guys are utilizing the mindset piece and then bringing it together with the technique. So you say, look, we get out of the prison. Now here's the step, right? Now the technique that we gave you, that really interesting information we gave you, now becomes important to you because you can now apply it and actually see a change in your life. Bro, that's what I mean by, you got people talking mindset, you got people talking technique. People really need to integrate those two because they're nothing without each other.
Absolutely. So talking with Pace Morby, real estate investor, TV personality, I do want to talk, Pace, about some of your techniques. We've talked about them a little bit through this, and I really love all the setup and the brand and how you've built it. But let's talk triple digit flip a bit. How did all that come about? You've been building your brand and obviously built this opportunity, but I dig in, watch a few of the shows. Definitely have it on my YouTube TV save list now. So let's talk a little triple digit flip.
Dude, it goes back to marketing, right? Back to your podcast. So how did we get the TV show? A lot of people, bro, check this out. A lot of people submit their ideas to TV networks that are like fix and flippers or interior decorators. When you get the statistics of how many people are trying to get a TV show by physically making an effort to get the attention of a TV network, it is thousands and thousands of people a year, to the point where the networks can't even physically go through all the reels that they get sent, right? Mm-hmm. We got a TV show by A&E reaching out to us and us actually saying, I don't know if that's a good brand play for us. Maybe the answer is no. Convince us. And how did they reach out to us is because we got past the mindset issues of marketing and we started branding ourselves by doing one thing. How do I provide value to the common man who's like, I don't know how to get into real estate, and showing them through a very, very easy process. So on my YouTube channel, I have a series called The Real Deal. I've been doing it for a couple of years. And all it is once a week, I go to a physical property that I really own. I give away the address. I go, hey, look, there's a lot of guys that are teaching you how to do real estate that probably don't even own real estate. But I'm going to give you the address. You guys can pull up public record and see this. Here's where I got it from. Here's the recorded call of us contacting the homeowner the first time. Here's us closing the seller on the 17th phone call. Here's the software we use to do the follow-up. Here's the lender I use to purchase the house. And I literally go through the whole process and I give away all the goods like in 20 minutes per house, right? And Jamil and I are on the TV show, Jamil Damji. For any of you guys don't know who he is, look him up on Instagram. It's @JDamji, JDAMJI. And him and I are not partners. We're actually competitors in our local market. We fight over the same houses all the time. But I'm a Pisces, and so like my blood wants me to just go make friends with everybody. And so I'm like, bro, I want to be friends with you. He's like, okay. And it was really weird for him for a year. when we speak on stage now, he talks about how he had to fight his natural instinct to not want to compete with me on every little thing in order for us to collaborate. And he's like, I had no idea it was going to lead to a TV show and us making millions and millions of dollars together in real estate and all sorts of things. But what ultimately happened is I reached out to Jamil because I kept competing with him on all these properties. And I go, bro, let's just collaborate. Let's buy one together. And he's like, okay, what's in it for you? I go, a friend, bro, a friend. And you brought up like you and your partner building community. To me, community mindset's number one, right? Having the right mindset. And then 2, community is number 2, the most important thing. And then 3, technique then can find its place, right? You have to have other people that are at the same level as you in order for you to continually grow. And then you've got to have people around you that are continually supporting you and all that kind of stuff. You get that. Everybody understands that. It's all common sense. And so I go, bro, what's in it for me is we're just going to become friends. So him and I both we both run into a house in Central Phoenix and we're sitting there bidding each other up. And I call him up. I go, hey, asshole, why don't we just buy the house together instead of bidding each other up? So we buy the house together. I make a YouTube video out of it saying, hey, this is my brother, Jamil. We compete in town, but on this deal, we decided to collaborate and see what happened out of it. And A&E was like, we freaking love that. They saw the YouTube video. They reached out and they're like, we want that. We want people that are collaborating with each other. We don't want this whole cutthroat industry. Like, we want to change the game. And so they courted us for 3 or 4 months. And they had 16 other people they were talking to about the TV show. And I'm like, hey, if you guys are talking to 16 other people, it means that you were not very special. So let us know if you end up choosing us, but we're going to kind of go and do some other things and work on some other stuff. 2 weeks later, they go, all right, we want to do a pilot with you. And we go, we don't have time for a pilot. We're not these guys that are doing one flip a year. Like, we are both running multi-million dollar real estate businesses. We don't have time for a pilot. So they go, okay, well, do us a favor, stand in front of a white wall and film each other with a camera. And we want you to read a Rocket Mortgage, like, fake commercial. We want you to read a Lazy Boy fake commercial. And we want you to read a Capital One fake commercial and just kind of see how you guys are on camera. And we're like, that's some low level stuff. Why don't we? So Jamil and I scripted and costumed ourselves. And we were like dressed up as astronauts and all sorts of cool stuff. And we did this all within like 3-4 hours, edited it all, sent it over to them. And they were like, how did you guys already have these commercials made before we even asked you to do this? We're like, we just made these in the last 3 or 4 hours. They're like, how is that possible? I'm like, because we're constantly marketing ourselves. This is what we do. We are used to being on camera. We love this stuff. And so what they did is they skipped the pilot and they greenlit us, and they told the other 14, 15 people they were talking to, they're like, we're going forward with these guys. And it was all because we were creative in the way that we were, like, they gave us a task and we amplified it 10x. Like Grant says, like, how do I make it 10x better than what you expected? And we got a TV show out of it. And now it's a big brand play for us, obviously, like showing people, hey, yeah, we can fix and flip. But also now I'm getting private investors that are calling me, and I've got employees that want to work for me. And I've got, brand deals. We did a Dawn commercial. Like, never in my life would you have told me I was going to do a Dawn dish soap commercial. And bro, this came from just getting out of my own way and posting on Instagram the things I was doing. And I call it I call it the Clint Eastwood strategy. Because people are like, well, what do I post? And I go, it's Clint Eastwood. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, great, best movie Clint Eastwood ever did was the good, the bad, and the ugly. You post the good, you post the bad, and you post the ugly. Like, I got my ass kicked today in my business. I lost $10,000, and here's why that happened. And here's the lesson I learned. Not everything has to be glorified in front of freaking Lamborghinis. Like, you can freaking show people authentic, genuine stuff that's going on inside your business, and they actually appreciate that more than the bullshit. And that's what we've been doing for the last several years. And we got a freaking TV show out of it.
Hey, and now you got attention, more attention. Hey, you built your brand, you got attention, and now you're on TV getting even more attention, which becomes leverage. my friend.
Well, check this out, bro. So you get Elena and Grant on your show, right? That's amazing move for you. And those, amazing relationship that you built with them, and you did a phenomenal job. I've listened to them a lot. I've looked up to them a lot, and your interviews were just about as good as anyone I've ever heard interview them, if not one of the best. Okay. Great job. It was a good brand play for you. 3 years ago, we reach out to Elena and Grant all the time. Hey, we want to interview you. We want to do this with you. We want to do this. I'm like getting into their world. I'm becoming friends with their pilot. I'm working on my pilot's license. So I'm trying to build a relationship with their pilot. I'm trying to get in the back door. I'm trying to do what Grant says all the time. Like, yo, if you're not invited to the table, then sell the water that's served at the table, or be the guy that serves the water at the table, but somehow figure out how to get a seat at the table. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to build relationships with people in his industry. I'm sending people deals on his team that are looking for multifamily stuff. I'm like, yo, tell Grant Pace sent this. Tell Grant Pace sent this. Bro, I could not get this guy's attention anyway. I didn't have the right leverage to get his attention. The second we get a TV show, now I go into a room with Grant and Elena because we're in kind of the same circles. I'm nowhere near their echelon, but our elbows touch as we're passing in the hallway, right?
Yeah.
And I get into the same room and somebody introduces me and Jamil to Elena and Grant. And what do they say? Did they say, hey, Pace and Jamil are killer real estate investors?
No.
Hey, these guys are some of the most creative people in this space? No. They said, hey, Elena and Grant, I'd like to introduce you to Pace and Jamil, who have a show on A&E, and it's the most popular show on A&E. That was the only thing. And both, all of a sudden, Grant and Elena's eyes open and they go, we got to talk. I get their cell phone numbers. Now Elena's going to come on the TV show with us. Bro, it's leverage.
Absolutely.
It's leverage. It is. And like, you teaching marketing and mindset to people is worth more than anything ever. It is the strongest currency. Check this out. I go on a podcast. Okay. 5 months ago, I go on a podcast. I get an email from a lady. I won't say her name. I get an email from a lady and she goes, I would like to lend you $1 million. 5 years ago, bro, I was calling public record and trying to scrounge up people's information that had loaned money to people. So like I can pull up a house and I can see who was the lender on that house. And I would personally call them and I would get turned down because they don't know who I am.
Yep.
But then getting yourself out there on a TV show gives you massive credibility, being on Instagram and YouTube and showing people your personality and who you really are. I get a lady goes, I have $1 million. We just sold a business. I don't want to go out and buy real estate myself. I would like you to invest it for me. And I want to be your partner on real estate deals. And I'm like, done. Let's get on a phone call. And I raised more money on one podcast than I did in 4 years of calling on public records.
And it may not have, what was the audience on the podcast? It may not have been like, hundreds of thousands of people, but it was the right audience, right?
A couple hundred people watched that.
Yeah. But the right couple hundred, right?
And the tough thing about marketing too, of like building a brand and getting into real estate, because here's the thing also with real estate is I could buy $1 million of real estate, no exaggeration, every single day from what source? Zillow, MLS, realtors? Yeah, maybe. But really, where can I buy a piece of real estate every single day that I want? In my Instagram DMs, bro. Welcome to 2022. Yep. I want a piece of real estate. I want somebody to let me take over their payments subject to. I want somebody to sell or finance a deal to me. DM me. DM me and I'll buy a deal. Every day I could buy $1 million of real estate. Now, it's bonkers. It's bonkers what brand can do for you. But I think your audience is like, okay, well, I hear what this guy's saying. It makes a lot of sense, but how do I get started? Like, what do I do first? And what's the time expectation, right? Like, I think a lot of people have an unrealistic expectation when you're building a brand and marketing yourself. They think I'm going to post one time on Instagram and somehow I'm going to get like 500 likes.
Yep. Every company and every person, like, it's not as bad as it used to be. A lot of them have figured it out that it's not that easy, which is why they call us. But it's amazing how many individuals think that way.
And there's nobody out there other than you guys that I think are articulating, here's the path, here's what you do, here's when you do it, here's the expectation. Now go to work, because it doesn't happen in 30 days. It doesn't happen in 60 days. And then relationships and getting in. I can tell you one of the most powerful things I've done in amplifying my success on social media has actually been joining masterminds. Right? Getting in the room with other people that are trying to do the same thing as me and leveraging the relationships that are in their cell phone by simply asking. But the thing that a lot of people don't talk about in masterminds is that I call it the Costco filter. Okay. So we both know what it feels like to go to Walmart, and we both know what it feels like to go into Costco. Is there a noticeable difference in the quality of the food, the quality of the experience, the quality of the customers? Literally, the people you're rubbing shoulders with in Costco are different than the customers you're rubbing shoulders with in Walmart. Do you agree with me on that?
1,000%. Best analogy. Best
difference?
Analogy I think I've ever heard. And I'm an analogy guy.
What's the difference? It's a $99 yearly subscription is the difference. It's a $99 filtering mechanism where they filter out the people that don't want to invest in being in a better environment than the people who do. And for me, I'm like, $99, that's it? Dude, charge me $1,000 a year. First off, I'm going to save more than that. But it's the people that I'm around. It's the experience I'm in. It's the environment. It's everything. It's the full entire deal. And a mastermind, the most important thing for me is I go to a mastermind, whether it's digital or in person, and I walk away and I say, how can I leverage just one person's cell phone contacts out of that room? And then I go back to that mastermind a month later. I go, all right, next person. All right, next person, next person. And then you've got one of the strongest Rolodex in the entire industry because you joined one freaking mastermind and leverage other people's cell phones.
Bingo. Community. It's the community aspect. It's the community aspect. That's the reveal. Like, you got this box in front of you, open the prize, and you think, oh, I'm going to get knowledge. And no, what you get is access to the community. Ding, ding,
Bro,
ding.
Somebody said this the other day, and you'll agree with this. If technique and information was all we needed, then we'd all be skinny, healthy, and wealthy.
Yes. Yes.
But it's not. The technique is great. The information is great, but the access to higher level people and community and unleashing your mindset is where all the big bucks are.
Yeah. And that's what I tell people a lot is I don't say it's not the statement of it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's the combination now of 12 things, and it's the compounding interest. And that's one of my principles in how I teach marketing is the compounding interest. You'll appreciate that from a real estate perspective, but I think of it more as brand interest, attention interest. Compounding interest of personal branding is one of my core lessons. That's a freebie. But that it's the combination of what you know, your mindset, and who you know, on top of like 10 other things. It's like, that's the secret sauce. Everybody thinks the secret sauce is one thing or two things, but that combination of community and the people that you rub shoulders with, on top of the knowledge, on top of the mindset, is the superpower.
You know what's interesting? So I've got a good buddy in this industry. His name's Jerry Norton. He's got a big YouTube channel. He's an awesome dude. And Jerry is constantly reaching out to me and asking me for contacts. This morning, I introduced him to another buddy of mine named Jory Alston. Most people in this podcast won't know who either one of these guys are. But what's funny is Jerry is constantly telling everybody in our industry, Pace is so connected. Pace is so connected. Pace is so connected. Pace is so connected. Everybody likes Pace. And I'm like, you know what's funny, Jerry, is literally you are in the same mastermind as I am. And you're asking me to connect you with people that are also in the mastermind. The difference is you joined, but you missed out. You thought it was for the technique. I leveraged the community, and now you who are also in my mastermind are like, hey, can you connect me with this person? Hey, can you do this with me? Hey, he texted me this morning. He goes, bro, you just made me $1 million by this connection from 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh, let me give you another guy. Okay. So like community is insane. And what's funny is two smart guys, Jerry Norton and myself, part of the same mastermind. I leverage the community and he leverages the information. Who has more value? I have more value. And so
because you're getting both.
When you join a mastermind, that for me, I'm buying relationships. I open the door and I'm buying relationships. And my price that I paid to be in that mentorship or that Mastermind was my Costco filter. It was, I know you're also a Costco member because I'm in the same building as you and I can trust you. I know we're both going to get some samples today. I know you're not going to cut in line with me. We're all on the same page.
Yep.
So community is huge. And
I'm getting those pita chips. I might try to get 2 samples, even though you're only getting 1, because I like those pita chips and I like that that caramel corn that I have no idea what they put in it. There's crack in it or something. But I don't know. Do I go to Costco hungry?
Never go to Costco hungry, bro.
Oh, dude,
that's a bad move.
Yeah, I come home with 7 months worth of hot dogs, 3 years worth of steaks, and stuff that's somehow going to go bad before my kids eat it.
Dude, and Costco is another genius marketing mechanism. It's like the lost leader of the hot dog of $1.50. Meanwhile, inflation's jumping at 10% every year, and they still sell a hot dog for $1.50.
Amazing. And somehow I have 37 months of paper plates underneath the cabinet that we have no room for. And my wife's like, why do you buy that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm lured in at the cost per unit here. And, she's like, we don't have any room for that. We live in a loft.
4 boys, so you guys will go through it all.
I know. Speaking of boys, speaking of family, I'll be honest, like your brilliance and your technique and your personality, which I had a feeling we were going to jive, and we've done more than just jive. I feel like you're like a brother from another already. But the family, I was like, dude, you talked about it like on your YouTube intro. You're like, I talk about this stuff, but family's it. And I was like, damn, I like this guy already. Like, family means a lot to you. I want you to talk about that a little bit.
It's interesting. Like I think the world is changing a lot where family's not talked about as much, right? It was like in the 1950s and all the way through the 80s and stuff, like family was the core of the household. And that's changed. Like people started realizing like, I can like other things. I don't have to have children. I don't have to, get married. There's people that are out there and that's what they truly enjoy. And they want to go pursue those beliefs and all of that kind of stuff. And I have people that work for me that are like, we legitimately don't ever want to have kids, right? All of that stuff is great. And I love it. But for me, bro, like I grew up with 12 kids. It is where the majority of my joy comes from. And I know, as a proud father of 4 boys, it's where the majority of your, joy comes from as well. And what really the goal of a family man is it's not about paying my bills anymore. It stopped being about paying my bills and taking care of my family a long time ago. What it is I want to give my children opportunities and put them in positions that I never had. Like I had to bag groceries and I had to work with my hands and all that kind of stuff. So now it's like, how do I teach my children to work with their brains and work with their mouths before, they even turn 18. Everything comes back to that for me. And what's fun about it is that I then attract other people that's their same core belief is like, I want to be a happily married dude with a very healthy and, wealthy family. But more importantly, I want to put my children in positions I was never able to be put in and teach them the work ethic to actually execute on those things. So like, it's so fun running to other guys that are like you because ultimately over time, we just kind of all attract each other. And then next thing you know, all my buddies are exactly the dudes I want to hang out with. So for me, family is also why I've built such a strong community. And I imagine that's why you and your partner are going to build a strong community because you realize like the togetherness, whether it is with a marriage and kids and all that kind of stuff, the togetherness is what we need as humans. We're freaking a herd animal, right? We have herd mentality. So regardless of what you want, whether it's being married, not being married, you want to have cats, dogs, no children, whatever, it doesn't matter. No matter what, at the end of the day, we all need and crave the unity of a herd. And so again, it's what I think separates me is like my family mindset of understanding that in business, you also need to have a family as well. And I think that really has elevated my success. And look at you, same thing. It's like the reason you're building community is you're like, I go home, I got my little community, my little squad. When I come to work, I want to have a community and I want to have a squad.
Exactly. And I think our team here at work, believes in that. And I don't know. I didn't know that I was going to be that way. I didn't grow up with 12 siblings. I had one sister, but then, I'm married the second time, and the first time didn't go terribly. We just weren't compatible. We had 2 kids, and then now we're the Brady Bunch. I have joint custody with my 2-year-old and 4-year-old when my wife now met. She had a 2-year-old. So we brought 2 2-year-olds and a 4-year-old together. We've been together 9 years now. So it's all they've ever known. And then we have one together. And so half the time, I say 60% of the time we have 4, and 40% of the time we have 1. So, but it's awesome. I mean, it's become ours, and I didn't know until my second wife and I built this community together and this family together. I was like, damn, this is how it's supposed to be. Like, and you think you're going to get it right the first time and things happen, but now it's like the core of what's important to me. And it doesn't make me any less ambitious or like, but we're building a company also that lets our people put family first too. And so
100%,
and it's resonating, and we're still able to be successful and driven and all those things, but I don't know. I just think it's important.
It's critical. It's 100% critical. And it's so important to me that I crafted a life that allowed my wife to be around me. Like, my wife's on the TV show with us. She's our realtor. My wife sells my houses for me when we're doing fix and flips. And could I hire another realtor and just have my wife, be a housewife? Sure, I could do that. But I crafted a life that my wife and I get to talk multiple times throughout the day. I get to be around my wife as often as I possibly can. I can work from home and still be able to get work done instead of being on the phone. Like, my wife and I had a conversation last night. It was like, hey, let's watch a movie with the kids. Real quick, I got a question about this listing that I'm putting up, blah, 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 blah. And it was all in the same sentence. And I was like, this is so great. Like, we're hanging out with the kids. I'm working at the same time. Like, I've blended the best of both worlds together. And so family for me is critical. Obviously my upbringing, but also going forward, like, you need the cornerstone of my life. I also, as a Pisces, we have this weird thing where we have to have our foundation taken care of before we leave the nest and go out and conquer worlds. And so for me, the foundation of my world, same thing as you, is my family. Yeah. It allows me to go and leverage, my superpowers out in the world, knowing that everything is safe at home.
I'm jealous of that because my wife is in the school system. She's an assistant principal at a middle school. And if anyone deserves an award the last few years with everything that's been going on, it's anyone in the school system, or at any time in life, really. But right. I am trying to convince her to come into our worlds together. So I am a little jealous of that. So I think we want to make it happen. It's just, she's built a career there, and
she's got friends, and she's realizing a lot of the hard work and sacrifice she put into learning her skill set, and now she can apply it and like be a super badass at what she's doing. So it's always going to be tough to tear that, from her and then say, you can use these same superpowers in this business as well, and actually probably serve more people around the globe rather than just in one school.
Exactly. So I'm chipping away at it. We'll see how it goes. Good. Cool, man. As we're wrapping up here, I know people will give all your links and stuff like that, but anything else, maybe in a lightning round of anyone wanting to get into real estate? Obviously they can go watch all your videos. You got all that stuff. I didn't want to spend, our time doing things that one link away with your amazing content could talk about. But tell them, is there anything you'd want to leave for anyone thinking about getting into investing? And has the shortage and the hot market changed? That was kind of one of the more technical things. I was wondering, like, if the approaches you apply with like sub-2 and all that stuff, a red hot market, does that change any of that? And I'm probably asking questions that are like, deeper than time allows.
It's a great question. It's kind of, here's the question is like posting on Instagram. Like let's say I'm a marketer, right? And I'm utilizing Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, any of that kind of stuff, to talk about my product, whether I'm a company that sells LLCs, whether I'm a company that sells plumbing, whatever it may be. If I'm leveraging social media, and then Instagram goes, you know what? We're not going to really push Instagram posts anymore. We're going to start pushing Instagram reels and like short form content. It doesn't mean Instagram doesn't work. It just means you have to adjust your the way you're posting accordingly, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing in real estate. We are buying just as many deals as we were before. We're still using sub-2 and seller finance. We're still using all the strategies that I talk about. It's just that there might be small little tweaks and changes based on the way I talk to a seller or maybe something that's going on. And I'll give you a real quick example. For a while, they turned foreclosures off, right? They weren't foreclosing on people. And so a lot of where I get deals from are people going through foreclosure and desperately need somebody to come in and help them. So for a while, we started going after a different set of data. So foreclosure wasn't really a great data set for us for a year and a half because people are, yeah, I know I'm in foreclosure, but the bank's not going to take my house because there's a moratorium on foreclosures. Okay, well, then we started going to houses that are just falling apart and are on code violation lists. So people that had a violation from their city because they have a broken window or abandoned cars in the front yard, we started focusing there and we bought just as many houses with sub-2 or seller finance. It's just, you got to tweak your strategy of how you're finding the houses and maybe what the pain point is that you're trying to solve. But we're still using all the same strategies to buy and own the real estate. The one thing that has changed big time is how much money I make. Like we made $10-15 million last year just in appreciation.
Wow.
Just in appreciation, properties going up. It's like, whoa, my net worth went up, whatever a dollar amount is, $10 to $15 million. My net worth went up just because I have properties sitting there gaining appreciation. Inflation has changed our industry to a point where like, you got to own real estate, dude. If you don't own real estate, your money is getting eaten to shreds. And so other than those things, nothing's really changed. And, you know, people can go watch my YouTube, but like the thing I feel like has made me really successful in real estate has been marketing. And so I look at what you provide on a podcast, right, for free. And I look at what you're going to do with your community. Even a guy at my level that's doing a decent job on branding can learn stuff from being in a community of other people that are marketing and branding and doing all those kind of things. Bro, I look forward to seeing what you guys do with your mastermind.
I love it. I appreciate that. Hey, where can everybody keep up with Pace Morby? I know you got pacemorby.com. We've got sub2.com.
Just go to my Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really manage my Instagram myself. So just go to Pace Morby on Instagram. I think the most personable place, like if you want to connect with me, is in my Instagram DMs. I answer my DMs on Instagram more than I answer my text messages. And I communicate there by when somebody DMs me, I actually reply back with a video like, oh, that's a great question. And here's the this and that and blah, 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 blah. So like, it's a really important place for me to communicate. So go to my Instagram, go to my stories, see what I'm up to. Like I document everything. You can see when I woke up this morning. You can see the first thing I did this morning. I document my journey. You can see everything I'm up to on my Instagram stories and DM me there. If you have a question or you need help with something with real estate.
Pace, man, I'm not just saying this, dude. It might be this is episode like 230 that we've recorded. This might be my favorite. I mean, you're that dude, man. Pisces, whatever the hell you are, just a likable guy. And
thank you, man.
And I appreciate your time. Everybody go watch Triple Digit Flip on A&E. Sundays and Mondays, right? They get that right?
Sundays and Mondays.
Hey, I love it. Go follow Pace Morby on Instagram. Hey, guys, you're going to find us, RyanIsRight.com. You'll find all the highlight clips from today, all the info and links to this platform. Hey, a lot of ways to make money. We're just here to help you learn all those different avenues. We'll see you next time on Right About Now.
This has been Right About Now with Ryan Alford, a Radcast Network production. Visit RyanIsRight.com for full audio and video versions of the show or to inquire about sponsorship opportunities. Thanks for listening.
99% of people fail in getting into real estate because of one thing, and it's because of mindset, not because of technique, not because of their sales skills. Literally, they have mindset issues where they are like,
This is Right About Now with Ryan Alford, a Radcast Network production. We are the #1 business show on the planet with over 1 million downloads a month. Taking the BS out of business for over 6 years and over 400 episodes. You ready to start snapping necks and cashing checks? Well, it starts right about now.
3, 2.